and help us learn and help us progress in our spiritual journey. Jai Sai Ram. Sai Ram, sorry, I know it was muted on my end. So anyone who has been listening online may not have been able to hear till now, but that should be fixed right now. Please feel free to just send us a note if it is not. Jai Sai Ram. All right, just a reminder to everyone to mute your cell phones. Let's be respectful, ask relevant questions, speak from the heart, and listen with humility. And of course, the best practice is to try to leave our ego outside of this discussion. We are going to start today with Vedantic meditation. I think it would be great if everyone would, make yourself comfortable. You don't have to sit on the floor. If you can't, you can just be comfortable. It's not a long one, but it might just help.
If you learn to concentrate on the heart center, your energies remain collected and a different dimension of intelligence opens within you. आप करके देखो थोड़ा सा concentration, थोड़ा सा meditation, 5 मिनट के लिए आप करके देखो. Just now I will give you a technique and you will see indeed you can be in charge of your energies and your mind will remain subdued, under your control, full of awareness, fully alive yet under control. You see what a beautiful state that must be. The thoughts you want come in, the emotions you want to feel you are able to experience. You are not carried away. You are not under your negativities. So you don't have to go into all these synthetic joys to keep you happy and delighted. So putting you in charge of yourself, this is what Bhagavad Gita is telling you. This is actually the essence of the Bhagavad Gita, elevating human life by oneself, by one's own faculties, training you to do it. Here let us practice that 5-minute meditation. Are you ready? Thoda practical mein jaye. I will teach you a 5-minute guided meditation which you can do every day just to collect your energies and learn to concentrate. Okay, it will take just 5 minutes. Sit straight, all of you. See, when you sit in your room, you can sit in that lotus posture which he is sitting, folding your knees. But here, because the chairs are like that, I don't mind if you put your leg down. Okay, but jab room mein practice karoge, sit in that position. What happens, when you sit in that position, posture is very important in meditation. If you sit erect, all your organs will come out alive. They won't, if you droop, they will also droop. A kind of alertness will come into your mind just by posture. So fix your posture, always keep the backbone straight. This is the first thing, and not just in meditation. Jab bhi concentrate karte ho, when you are just sitting, hearing lectures, when you are working in your room, keep the backbone straight and look at its magical effect on your body and mind. And then, see, certain basic things I will tell you before I start. If you just still the body, to a great extent you still the mind. Learn to still the body. If you regulate breathing, mind will be in your hands. Try it and see. If you just regulate breath. So now we will practice it. All of you, back straight, neck straight. Only I will keep my eyes open because I have to watch you, but all of you have to keep your eyes closed. Yes, close your eyes. Keep as still as possible and regulate your breath. Harmonious breathing. Long drawn out breaths. Just regulating breathing and posture will usher the mood of meditation. Regulate your breath and just watch your mind. You see how the thoughts have calmed down. Just posture and breathing regulated, calming effect will come on the mind. If you keep watching your thoughts, they will stop. Watch your thoughts. See how they come to a standstill. Now I will introduce the meditation. Imagine a point of light in your heart. Imagine a point of radiant light in your heart. This is the light of your awareness. You are pure awareness, ever shining, ever present, of the nature of existence, pure consciousness and bliss. All knowledge is within this, all power is here. You are pure awareness, always. This is the light of awareness ever shining in your heart. Identify strongly with this point of awareness which you are. This has a name. It is called Om. We will just chant Om 5 times, a long drawn out Om. Just follow me. For the next 1 minute, you will just hear the Om going on within you. Deeply concentrate, the Om is perpetually going on. Just hear it within your heart. Feel the stillness within you. See how the mind has come to rest. You are just awareness without thoughts. This is your real state. Now, let us again bring in specific thoughts. Imagine that point of light, your awareness expand infinitely all around you and encompass everything. Your body, your mind, your thoughts, your will, the objects around you, the world around you. Your awareness encompasses everything. You are in a sense one with everything. You have become one with Supreme Consciousness, which we call God. Remember, these are your real states of mind. When mind activity is not there, awareness remains over. You can expand that awareness and reach the state of pure consciousness. With this, slowly you will open your eyes. This mood of stillness you must keep up. See, after a meditation like this, whatever you think will be even more brighter. Your thought process will be clearer. Why? You have stopped normal thought, at least for 2-3 minutes. You have decreased the volume of information in your brain, isn't it? You haven't stopped thought for 2-3 minutes. We should say you stopped it maybe for a few fractions of a second, but at least you stopped the constant flow of information for some time. Just a 5-minute meditation. It has a calming effect on body and mind. So this you can practice. When you learn the art of concentration, why do we tell you fix the mind in the heart? You know, yogically speaking, if I can use that word, you are raising vital energy to the heart by doing that, because you have fixed your attention on the heart. This is an important technique. By doing that, the mind will become very clear. This kind of confusion, restlessness, unnecessary distraction, all this will not remain. Thoda try karke dekho, you know the art of concentration will just descend on you. So don't simply struggle with unnecessary things. Don't waste your youth on that. Struggling with anger, struggling with distractions. No. There's a glorious life in front of you. Train this system properly and you can get the best out of life.
Okay, Sairam. We can now move on. If everyone is okay, we can move on. Otherwise, we can take a few seconds, whatever works for this room. Okay. On Thursday, we did have our session. So I've just tried to compile a lot of information that we shared on that day. We actually talked, we listened to chapter 37. We talked about seeing God in everyone through Krishna's activities and what Krishna's activities mean. And how his actions speak louder than words by, his actions of sharing food with his friends, or asking for food from his friends, even though there was a class difference, for example, or seeing, and most of them were seeing Krishna's actions as just one of them, not realizing or recognizing his divinity. So we did talk about awareness of his actions, of an avatar's actions, and then getting the messages from his miracles, what we consider as miracles, but those are just actions as far as the avatar is concerned. And then bringing in transformation. We did talk about how transformation is hard, especially because people tend to get carried away by the miracles or the act of what we call as miracle. And what stops us is basically the impact of our past actions or tendencies, and then of course ego. We did continue our discussion with miracles are always seen in different forms in today's day and age. So these are very symbolic, and getting the essence is basically required, especially, for all of that, we need to be aware. I know we did talk about that. And then we moved along to through a discourse by Swami. We talked about balancing scientific advancement with spiritual values. We did not complete our discussion there, but we did talk about how humans today are lack empathy. We talked about examples of Sai institutions, be it the education or the hospital, and how it can be an example for all, since everyone working in those institutions have the faith in the divine or in Swami, and these values always help make society a better place. So that's what we, in short, have discussed. Does anyone have anything to add?
Sairam. I got to participate only in the latter portion of last Thursday. But from what I heard, we were discussing the scientific advancements versus spiritual
Yes.
thing. So, if you look at the original intent of the research, I'm talking about research done at the institutional level.
Okay.
Um, it was all meant to be open to public. For example, when anybody doing research in a university, they publish papers of their whatever progress they have made that is spread to the whole world, and anybody else can pick up from there and then do their research. So the whole thing was meant to be like that. But where the uh, complication is introduced is there is another entity in the university or in any research institution which looks at every research from a commercial angle, whether they can make money out of it. And then they say, okay, in that case, then you cannot publish it, you have to patent it. So the moment you patent it, then it becomes you're the sole owner, and anybody who wants to use that will have to pay money to that entity. So that's where the commercial aspect comes in. But if you just look at pure research, maybe about 100 years back or so, that this commercial aspect is not that much into the thing. Now everything is looked at from a commercial eye. So they want to see if they can make money out of that
Correct.
research.
Yeah.
So, and it is being funded with that in mind. So
Yeah.
they want you to develop something that we can
Eventually,
hold it.
yeah.
Maybe that company, maybe that university, or maybe that country. So that is where this one comes. So the original intent was good, but it is being morphed or changed now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we did talk about that as well. Yes. All right. This is the discourse that we did talk about. We did. I can read the discourse one more time, and then we have a few more questions that we did not really touch upon. Let me just read through the discourse one more time, and then we can discuss. Today, people boast about the tremendous progress of science and technology. But if this claim is true, why does Ajnana, ignorance, persist on such a large scale? The fact is, much of the progress in science today is confined to satisfying man's selfish desires and not for promoting the general well being of the world. Is it a sign of true progress if a country arms itself to the teeth to destroy another? Is this an index of scientific advance? It is really a sign of ignorance. Good thoughts, good words, and good actions are absent today. How then do you expect the divine to fulfill your desires? Men are behaving in a manner worse than that of animals. How can they be called human at all? Perpetually, they are concerned about wealth, family, and children. They hardly think of God. There are fleeting moments of devotion, but these are more demonstrative than genuine expressions of faith in God. Such artificial expressions of devotion serve only to confirm the atheists in their disbelief. Unless faith in God expresses itself in a godly life, it is sheer hypocrisy. I do not want to know what you have listened to my discourses, that you have listened to my discourse as well. I want to know that you have thoroughly transformed yourselves. It is such transformation that is the mark of true devotion. If the ground is not wet, what is the use of saying there has been a downpour? Those who claim to be devotees should show in their actions some evidence of their faith. They must truly live up to their profession. Sai Ram, in words, any dishonesty in thoughts is brazen deception. Sai Ram must emanate from the depth of one's being. Whether in the Sai organization or elsewhere, there must be sincerity and unity of thought, word, and deed. Develop fraternal feelings towards all. Difference of opinion can be resolved by compromise. If egoistic pride is given up, all difficulties can be overcome. From today, make a bonfire of your ignorance and egoism and develop love in your hearts. Live up to Swami's teachings as far as possible and thereby redeem your lives. Sai Ram. Sai Ram, this is the discourse that we are discussing. And with that, I had a few questions here. Of course, this is not a limitation, as everyone knows. When Swami emphasizes devotion must be genuine, in what ways can we transform our daily actions so that they reflect authentic faith? I thought that is something I know we touched upon before, but we do all have a ritualistic habit, and I think that that is easy to follow. Ritualistically, we can definitely do the actions.
Sairam. I was listening to one Samarpan talk by Pidatala. I forgot his first name. Swami student, a very ardent devotee. What he says is, Swami has said there are three requirements to be considered for a devotee. One is unconditional love. Second is unconditional seva. And the third is, I'm blanking out on that third one. But unconditional seva, so somebody said, what does that mean? So Swami gave an example. So there was a marshy area and a lamb got stuck in the marsh. There were a few people sitting in the land, and they were laughing at the plight of that lamb, and they were even throwing stones at it. And there was one sage or monk kind of a person who walked there and immediately rushed and picked that lamb and took it on the shoulder and take it. And then these guys were saying, hey, why did you do that? And why did you do that? And so he was saying, we were having, they were asking him why he saved it. So he said, I saved, see what he asked was, why did you save that lamb which was suffering? So he said, no, you're wrong. When I saw that lamb in that marshy area, first of all, it was struggling because the marsh, it could not come out. On top of it, there were stones being hurled at it. So when it was crying, my heart was so much pain. I did that only for myself, only for saving myself. I saved that lamb. Right. So what Swami said was, that is the level at which you need to go. So whatever seva you're doing is not for helping others. It's not for the lamb. It's for your own sake. So Swami has said that as an example. So that is unconditional seva. I think that I thought that I will share that.
Yeah, very nice.
The human life is blessed only once by the Lord. And we have to utilize this life in a manner, as you said, Venkarji, for a selfless service. And that is what we have to do. I mean, life is, you can do anything with the life. You can enjoy the life, you can mint money, and you can do anything with the life. But if you're not contributing towards society, I think your life is baseless. So that is what I think Swami's meaning with the selfless services. Whatever you do, it should contribute in some sense to the society. Even if you are doing research of some kind, if you are teaching in a university or an academic institution, that is also a service. You don't get anything out of when students excel in your program, right? But you feel blessed that you were part of the journey for those students who are now in a better position. So that is also a service. Service can be done in any form. Thank you, sir.
Swami has said, even if you smile at somebody, that is a service. So you don't have to say anything. Just smiling, having a pleasant face and smiling is itself a seva. Because the other person might be going on some turmoil, which you don't know. They may not reflect on their face. When they see somebody else smiling, that reduces their...
Yeah, so that's what I was going to we don't have to label something as selfless service, and let's do everyday jobs in the right way. Yeah, please go ahead.
So no, the smiling, it reminded me when Apurva and Evan were here, we went to get pizza. Venkat and I just get that. So we went to the Pizza Hut, we went to the drive-through, and then that guy he was smiling, he was talking to us. The You could feel that it was not artificial, it was coming right from inside. And we left not just with pizza, we left with such a delighted heart. I mean, we both were saying, "What an amazing guy he is!" Like we felt that. So yes, in order to make somebody's life, better, just do that. That is something. That is an example I took from him. Like you have to be that.
Yeah. Actually, out here we come across such people in every, many stores as well. I go in, and so many people pay for the other person, which I feel like I am, I'm not that. I always, first thing I would think, I first off, the thought doesn't come. Even if the thought came, then I would think, oh, I don't know. I mean, what this person is doing with their money. But at the end of the day, I've seen when you walk into Food Line just like that, they are, I think about a month ago or maybe 2 months ago, when I actually walked in, um, this lady was on food stamps. She was giving the food stamps, and it was less for what she wanted. The guy behind her said, "That's okay, just put it on my tab." It was such an easy thing, and it never crosses my mind. First off, I don't pay attention. Secondly, I never take that opportunity to do that. But yeah, I agree. Every day, you have to be so aware at every point. Most of the time I'm looking at my phone, I don't know who is.
No, I don't even look. I'm in my own la la land, and I don't know. I mean, even if people change their color from black to blonde, I don't realize. So that is the level at
No,
which
yeah.
I am completely,
Yeah.
in my own.
I agree.
I think we have to be very aware of other person and the way they are, feeling.
Yeah, and very open, be open to giving.
Yeah,
our
exactly.
our mind promptly comes in and tries to
Questions,
questions, and kind of says, we are holier than thou, why we need to do this. Yeah, please.
Sairam. So in so doing, it's only for our own sake we are doing.
Correct.
So that is the clear distinction. It's not from helping somebody. See, for example, that pizza guy, even if he had been having a grim face and then doing that, handing the
We'll still
pizza,
take the
taking the
pizza.
card, swiping, and then here you go, take the receipt. That's all. His job is done. But having that smiling thing is it makes us so happy, peaceful.
Right.
But it is coming from him. So it should be for his own sake that we should do. In other words, when we are in that position,
It's
we
for our
should
sake.
do that for our own sake, not for from a position of helping somebody.
Absolutely.
Sam, so this is like for some jobs that is like a training that has been given. So we just have to understand whether it's truly or something easy practicing in every day, every moment or not, because we never know. Because it's one thing is like these representatives or like any of the people who work in these stores, they might be trained because that's the way their jobs are all been.
But how many times do you see someone so happy? I've not seen.
No,
But there are people who throw the pizza at your
see,
face.
it all depends
I'm
on
just
the
saying,
it all
I've had that
see, that's what I'm saying. It's your like your
Correct.
probably your experience, but most of the like okay, if you are talking about any of the receptionists or something like this,
Yeah.
it all depends on the amount of the duty or like it's the amount of the work that they have done or something like this. If it has been overloaded, they might turn out to be that way. They might turn out. So I'm not trying to judge, but I'm trying to say that like it's the job is being trained that way. Like you need to receive any of the customers to be in a very happy manner. But that doesn't mean that like those people are all doing that way. So
No.
I'm trying to be there. So that's where I'm saying is like it is something everyone has to practice it every day, seeing it every day. And the moment we start thinking about having a over awareness about like ourselves to look into the surroundings, we forget ourselves. So we forget ourselves. So we also have to focus ourselves. Like as Soumya was saying that like she will be in her own la la land. Probably like you're in your la la land, but you might be having your Swami in that la la land, whom you are trying to be playing with that, or like be inspiring with that. So it all depends. It all depends. Like wherever we are, like if you are the same thing, like okay, the message from Swami that says like sometimes you have to be like, even the meditation says like you have to be self involved. And if you're trying to focus your energy to the other side awareness, you will not be there. So it's all balancing. That's how we have to keep moving. It is what I feel like. Okay, we have to keep moving. Say someone in
So
that mode.
I'm going to cut you here for sorry. The reason being that why that guy stood up. I go every week and go do grocery shopping or some other things, but it never occurred to me, that any interaction would be just a normal interaction. But why that guy came into both of us felt that, right?
Yeah.
Why did it come through? There is something different about that person. And you can say, whenever somebody, say, for example, somebody gives you a lecture also, you can know whether it comes from experience or whether they are just giving you a bookish, right?
Right.
So you can feel that whether it is coming
Even on
from
YouTube, you
inside,
can.
yeah, inside, whether it's coming from inside or is it just a bookish one that is coming through. So that is one thing. Yes, being in our own thoughts is okay, but also being aware of the divinity outside, and that is also very critical, I feel, because when you are too much into your own self, you forget about the bigger picture, the bigger divinity that is surrounding you, right? So that is where I'm coming from. Yep.
Saira.
Sainam, see, yeah, in that example, whether he would be the same, or he might have just come for this, what do you say, his schedule, and maybe towards the end of the schedule, he might not be that. That's all okay. Let's not worry about that part of it. But if we go, I mean, he might have been trained. That's all fine. But whether you're able to maintain that, whatever you've learned in the training throughout your work period, we don't know. So, but forgetting all that, if we can just have what, we're coming back to this selfless seva or unconditional seva, is to do that, so that we are our spiritual growth happens through that. So it is not for helping others. It's not whether they get. So Rajviji mentioned about doing good for the society. Yeah, all those things are good, but you don't rate your service based on how much good others have benefited from your
That's
service.
exactly
That's
what I'm
not
saying.
the criteria.
The
So
criteria
whatever,
is, yes, self.
yeah,
That's
the
what
act of just doing it, so that you're attaining peace, and it gives you an opportunity to go self-inquiry and then go and realize your divinity. That is the whole purpose of that saying.
So I feel like anything that should start from us. If your mood is good, you see the other person also good. If it's so, that is where like it all depends. Like your mood. That's why our steps should start from us rather than looking from the other people.
Yeah. All right. If anyone has anything to add, otherwise I would like to go to the third question that I have. I did put in unity of thought, word, and deed just because that is what Swami is talking about.
Bhavani, can you go back to the previous ones, like the first?
The slide?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
So this says like if you're progressing science and technology, it says like why does that Ajnana persist in a larger scale?
Right.
So this is like I'm little unclear, like having the
Because
tremendous.
we talked about it on Thursday.
Oh, it's already.
Yeah. No, but we can talk about it. It's not because it is a very big topic. We did
fine.
talk
It's
about
already
it.
been discussed, then it's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, we did talk about it. Yes.
No, I just thought, I mean, it's I wasn't there too, but from what I understood, there is any country. I don't want to dwell too deep into it, but
That's
any
okay.
country developing like arms, there is an arms race and all that. So is not doing it from considering the welfare of the whole world.
Right.
It's all selfish. So
Yeah,
that
Jai Bhai had actually given a very good example at the time. And is he ready to share? Okay. Okay, please go ahead. Share your thoughts. Sai.
So the related to science and technology, but it's not purely, I would not say it's purely science and technology. So there is a survey happens every year. Most happiest nation in the world, they do it, right?
Yeah.
So we know that many times I saw that survey results, and all the developed countries, they come far below in the list than a very poor country, which is an African country. It's in the top of the list when it comes to the happiest country. It always comes to the top of the list, which is GDP wise, it's nowhere when compared. So the other survey which was showing most of these developed countries where science and because of science and technology only, they are actually in that status today. So if you look at the psychiatric drug consumption, is way above in these developed countries because that shows that the science and technology is not giving what actually a person requires to be a well-being. Healthy is different, physical health is different, but well-being is a wholesome. It's not just physical, mental.
Yeah.
So that is what shows that science and technology is not really giving what a human being requires to be a well-being. That's what called ignorance. Ignorance is the reason for all this. So if you're that advancement in science technology not fulfilling that, it's a waste. That's one thing. The discussion last time, that example which was explained is morality behind this advancement. So I was giving an example during COVID time, they invented vaccines and we saw the drama happened during COVID supply to the other countries. There were countries trying to take advantage of supplying the COVID vaccines and demanding for these things. So that is where the business or advancement, whatever is involved with the business, is not showing up this morality, sympathy, and the spirituality behind it. Whereas that same thing happened, India was happy to supply. I mean, I'm just taking that only one country because that time there were 3-4 countries only was successful
Right.
in developing the vaccines, and India used to be one of that one. So where India has the same kind of investment debt, and they also created a vaccine, but they were ready to supply these vaccines to poor countries like Africa and other places. Whereas the developed countries with a lot of money, a lot of GDP was still negotiating for the money. That's the pity thing. That's one of the example I will explain.
Right. Right. Absolutely. So at the end of the day, we did talk about how human values would help. Morality helps. Humanity helps. And where we lack is when science and technology equal power in this world, then those mathematics, as Venkatji had explained, become different because it's all about the money then.
Yes, Sairam, I just wanted to share one. I just read it a couple of days back. In this here in the US, a person had gone with to a dentist, and the dentist was an Indian origin dentist. And during some conversation, the dentist had told that I spent only $800 for my entire education. And that became a big news. So he put it in some Instagram, Instagram or somewhere saying that, hey, this dentist spent only $800.
And
Then
not from this country and spent only
$800. So there were a lot of people, oh, you should have just stormed out of that office. You should not have gotten treated there because he must have spent $800 to get a fake certificate. Okay, that's all must have happened.
Right.
So I don't know why this country is allowing such people to practice in this country. All such comments. And then they were saying, oh, I can't believe that. All those negative comments are there. So they are judging the quality of that treatment or the education based on the amount. See, look at how how the whole thing is changed. You are being judged by how much you spent. You know, it's then some Indian origin people said, no, 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 it's not like that. It's government subsidized. Government is paying for such people.
Right.
It's like that. So why I'm saying that is somehow the quality is linked to the economics.
Yeah.
So we have to be very careful. It's also another thing. We have to be very careful in saying. So sometimes whatever we say can be completely turned upside down and then rated.
Yeah, absolutely.
So on the same lines, like I still have that putting science and technology to the ignorance part, because science and technology doesn't mean that like any country is highly developed only just because of the science and technology. And even on the surveys, what Dhananjay is saying that like the surveys could be like on multiple factors. A person who is having like a full meal, if you are trying to survey on even a great meal from great meal again, like okay, the best chef does that also. He might not even do a survey like saying that I like that thing or something like this. A person who is having hungry, even like if you put a survey on the bread, he might say that like oh, I need this thing. So I'm not connected like so any developed country like having a like a lower scores than a poor country when you're doing a happiness kind of thing is it all depends on like how who have been answering those things, and who, like whatever is the amount of the population. So the factors that might be differing is what I'm thinking. And so I feel like the science and technology is like the progression is anything advancement. I feel like okay, even in the farming, if you are doing a farming like with the very traditional old way using your ox and the other the way, it takes time. But the advancement of the science and technology, like how you can use the machines to do that thing, how does that, why does the ignorance or like the
That is not the ignorance he's talking about.
see the ignorance is something different is that's what ignorance could be, like lack of even understanding what is good or what is bad, because they don't even differentiate those things. If anyone whom we call it as an ignorant person, he is like he is not in a position to differentiate between what is right or what is wrong also. So having a science and technology like today's, we have so much of technology, so much of science, and where we have so much of apps information that keeps flooding, that makes ignorant sometimes, like having seeing which information is right or wrong also, like it scares us. So to the information what 800, it is like he is humbly trying to say that like it doesn't take more than that. But people's mind, see, I feel like the people who are reading that and understanding that way are ignorant than anyone else. So
Correct.
so it makes it's a, what is he considering 800 is okay, he would have studied on his own, he would have studied, and people can do that, like
Yeah.
how much needs to be spend is like I don't have to spend in the Harvard school to become as a certified to do something.
Yeah.
I can be from a regular normal school like government school and can become a lot of things.
Yeah.
So the people are like in that state of
Yeah,
mind.
that's
The technology is making ignorant in the sense like it is all about like I don't know how to put that, but
so yeah, I'm not talking about technology I don't think it is technology that is ignorance driven. I think it is the use of that is the problem. Yeah, please go ahead, Jay Bhai.
So it's not word to word when we are talking science and technology versus ignorance. We are not talking about ignorance of the knowledge that comes from science and technology. Here, the ignorance represents the purpose of science and technology, the progress of science and technology. What is its use? I mean, its ignorance is not the knowledge we are talking about, it's the purpose. If it is not helping the humanity to grow, or not helping the humanity to be a well-being, that's what we refer it as a ignorance.
Correct. Yeah. You have to talk in the mic because we go online. So please talk in the mic. Yeah.
Boss.
Please, it's
No,
on.
no,
It's on.
his boss. Mike is his boss.
Yeah. It's not on. Mm. No, it's not. Oh, it's not coming. Now it's on. Yeah.
Here I understand ajnana is not we don't know. What is known is very little. What we don't know is much more. That's why everyday research is going on for progress. So do not stop at science and technology progress. What we stop is what is not known. To be known is what Swami is insisting upon. We have to look into that aspect. Ajnana is vast in a large scale, which is not known to human beings. We have to experience it by whatever experience or experiments going on. We have to experience it and then get it to knowledgeable condition. That's what I understand as ajnana, which is unlimited. That's what I understand.
Sabita Sairam on online. Sabita just said, I think the point is sometimes the more we have, the less we are happy. So that's because I think she is referring to the previous comment made by Jay Bhai. Thank you. Thank you. We can move on to the next question. The last question that I have here is Swami says differences of opinions can be resolved by compromise. How can we transform our approach to conflict so that compromise becomes a tool for harmony without sacrificing truth and core values, which I think is always a problem, especially when I see it at work. You know, without sacrificing the truth, sometimes, you know, especially in this day and age, I feel I take the approach of silence, which is not the right approach.
Sairam. See, as you rightly said, the crux is without sacrificing truth and core values. Now, that truth, what is truth? That is subjective. That is where the problem is. Each one considers certain things as truth, and that is certain things as core values. There is a difference there. So that is why the compromise becomes a challenge. It is not that easy. Why? Otherwise, if everybody, if like there are two parties which have the difference of opinion, and if both agree to the same truth and core values, then compromise is very easy. Okay, so then each person you can just agree or compromise, come to a middle ground easily. But if this person considers this is my core value, I cannot compromise, and the other person says that's my core value, that they cannot compromise, and that is not the same, then that is where the challenge comes. So the truth and core values, if we go by what spiritual, what Swami says, or that is where that faith in divinity or the higher power comes into picture. For example, why is it in the Sai organization? I'm just taking that as an example. There is less disunity. Let's put it that way. There is still some disunity there always, but there is less. It's working as an organization to the most extent. Together, they are able to do some seva. They are able to go organize some seva activity or some spiritual activity. Something is going on because that figure there, as a Swami, that faith in that Swami is driving the whole thing. So that truth and core values is attached to that, or to his message, to his physical presence, to that extent, whatever he says. And that, so everybody kind of agrees, oh, Swami has said that, we will do it. Swami has said that, we will do it. So they are not questioning that if they have that faith. So that's why there is less disunity in an organization. But when there is an absence of that binding force, then there is always this scope for conflict and less chance of a compromise. So that's where the challenge is.
So I definitely agree that thing, like whether we compare it as Swami or something. See, in any of the very mature organizations, the, the guiding principles for conducting or performing any task will be defined based on their experiences from longer time, what best suits and what best works for their vision and goal. So that's where, like, when you have that kind of clear guidelines, then we can tell that, like, okay, without even compromising the core values and the truth, we are working towards that thing. Then the compromisation might be a tool towards that. So in the real thing, in the real life, okay, say suppose if me and my neighbor was there or something like this, okay, like, okay, I might be having a fun, like if I'm playing my music very loud, but he might not like it because he might be in a different mood. But what is the compromising situation there? Like, okay, so if the true value is like, what is the truth and the core value? For me, core value is like, okay, for me to have an inner happiness kind of thing, I want to play very loud. And if he is not, so there the compromise is, again, it's just like, okay, to understand the society rules and all these things, if I reduce it, then that could be the compromising. So then everywhere, like, it's everywhere, if you know the guiding principles which are being laid out for any, whether it's a society, community, office, team, and everything, then we can understand. Not we don't like, we automatically compromise when we know that thing. So
Yes.
even Swami says the same thing.
So for me, when I'm talking core values, there is only 5 core values, and that is truth, love, peace, non-violence, and right action, dharma. So in all of these things, when you talk about truth, we are we should we have to say it nicely, but still say the truth, or hold your tongue. When I say the truth, what I mean to say is, there is when we are at work, especially at work, I say, because at home, I think we are open to, at least we live in a family situation where the truth does not need to be hidden. But at the same time, the core values still are the 5 human values that we are talking about. Now, everything that a company does not reflect into great monetary benefit, neither does it reflect into a great process for the well-being of humans. They are only looking for a lot of times only the profit and the loss business that actually goes on. So my point is that even though we have certain conflicts, we cannot resolve some of them, most of them, because they are not asking for your opinion in these contexts. They are telling you what it is, and you go with the flow on things. So that is where finding that harmony becomes hard to, and everyone else will know that this is not the great path for success, but they still follow it because that is what the company or the organization or whoever has decided, and you simply go with the flow. You know that down the road these things will be again addressed, and again we want to change it. But that's how we sustain our jobs. Again, are we going to open our mouths and say it right there that this is so? That is where I think sacrificing the truth or core values, that thing happens, and that conflict becomes more only when we follow a certain path. And at least that's how I have noticed it. So if anyone else has anything to add, I know Jayabhai has been noticing it for quite some time. He always talks about it very often, but I'm just developing it now.
In this situation, what you spoke, like, see, especially like, we wanted to talk truth, and if you are trying to be agreeing with what other people are saying, it even if it is not the truth kind of thing, it is most of the time like, if we try to say the truth also and want to prove that thing also, if it falls on us, are we in a situation to make it true? That might be like, unless we are really confident, then that's where, like, will not will our mind says, like, okay, this is not like, okay, but if I want to say that, like, okay, this is the way it should be done, if it falls on you, if you are being signed up for that to make it prove that it's correct, then it will work. But we internally, something runs back, is like, okay, oh, if I face this thing, oh, then it will become more worse than that. Rather than that, like, I'll compromise it here and silently move with the way, with the flow. See, that is different from what we are. Like, it's a true value or core values is like, again, if you really want to really do what it is the right kind of thing, speak out. Again, like if you're tied up with job, and if you're tied up with so much of attachments, you can never be true value. Like you can never play anything what you want to play. So you have to unattach to this thing and do what it. So you are in the path of spiritual journey, but all these things are like only a scheduled day of Saturday, 6 o'clock. I want to be like a spiritual journey means that does not work.
Correct. Thank you. That is correct. So anyone else has anything to add? Because I think we don't have enough time to start the next chapter right now. We'll have to move. Yes, please go ahead.
No, I just wanted to add on to that. See, that's where that's what I meant by the truth. See, in your case, as Bhavani, when you said that example of you finding something not correct from the organization, what they are asking you to do is, or you meaning your team to do, is not correct because of so many things. It's not adding any value, or it's prone to failure, or whatever it is.
Right.
Or it can be easily done in some other way they are asking you to do, because that's the way it is done. Now, you may not have the full picture. That's where that truth from your standpoint, maybe what you say, it's like an elephant. You're trying to figure, you're just holding on to the leg and saying, this is the elephant. But there could be so many other things which may be dictating it. So which we don't know. So that's why I meant, what I meant is that truth, when you are in a difference of opinion, that truth is not black and white. It's not very clear.
Right.
That's what.
Absolutely. I agree with that. All right. Before we end, I just wanted to remind everyone of the life application. If anyone is interested in the meditation videos that I'm sharing, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm just not bombarding everyone on the WhatsApp channel, but I can definitely share the various videos. We will be working through them, and it will also give you everyone an opportunity to work through what all is available. Since we have the internet, it's really one of those things that I believe is working for me. So again, this is just a breath-based reflection. You don't have to remember these words. I walk the path of dharma as you inhale, and then exhaling, you can say, I surrender all outcomes. Again, this, you don't have to remember this, but working on your breath is the best way, or the best approach, like Swami always says. So with that, we'll end with Om and Three Shantis. Thank you all for participating today. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sai Ram.